Hello yoga friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and this is the 31-day yoga challenge where we do 20 minutes of yoga a day for 31 days. Today is day 10 and today is all about to root or the root chakra. We won't be needing any props for today's practice, and as always there is a playlist linked down below if you care to listen to some tunes while you practice. So without further ado, let's start here on our backs in constructive rest. So coming down onto our backs, keeping our knees bent, just walking our feet to the outer edges of the mat and then knocking the knees together here. Maybe bringing the arms down by the sides, or maybe resting on the belly and our heart. Whatever feels good here. Fluttering the eyes closed or taking a soft gaze, evening out the breath in and out through the nostrils deep into the belly. And we'll come into the present moment. We'll begin our practice by setting an intention. Anything that comes to mind is wonderful. And if nothing comes to mind, you can always use this one. I am here and I am safe. I am here and I am safe. And whatever intention you chose for yourself today, begin to inhale that through the nose deep into the belly. And open the mouth, sigh, exhale out anything extra that you may have brought onto your mat today. We'll take that one more time, inhaling through the nose deep into the belly. And open the mouth, sigh, exhale out anything extra. Returning to your even breath, knowing you can always come back to your intention throughout practice and perhaps throughout the rest of your day today. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath here in this constructive rest. And on your next inhale, let's go ahead and flutter the eyes open, bringing the arms out to a T, and just windshield wiper the knees gently from side to side, finding some movement. And one more round of this. And then gently bringing the knees back up towards the sky. We're going to bring both legs straight out in front of us, coming into a Shavasana. And then bend the right knee, placing the right sole of the foot on the inside of the left leg for supine tree pose. We're going to find a few different expressions of tree pose throughout our practice today. Really feeling that we're rooted through the ground just like a tree would be. And we'll stay here for about 5 more rounds of breath, gently opening that right hip. Making sure no tension is creeping up in any other parts of our body. If it does, just exhale it and let it go. And on your next exhale, gently straighten that right leg down to meet the left. As we inhale, bend through that left knee, bringing the left sole of the foot onto the inside of the right leg for supine tree on the opposite side. Not worrying if this feels a little bit different on this side than it did on the right. Embracing that asymmetry. And we'll stay here for about 5 more rounds of breath. next exhale, gently straighten that left leg down. And then inhale both knees into the chest, maybe grabbing behind the thighs, crossing the ankles. Option to roll off to one side and sit up, or gently roll up and down the spine, maybe 3 or 4 times. Rolling through a seated position all the way to tabletop. Making sure those knees are directly under hips, wrists directly under shoulders. Let's inhale, drop that belly, look up to the sky for cow pose. Exhale, chin to chest, rounding the spine for cat. We'll take that 2 more times, connecting breath to body here. Inhaling to cow. And exhaling to cat. And then on your next inhale, let's move to a neutral tabletop position, flexing through the feet, maybe moving those palms slightly forward. Let's press the hips up and back, coming in to our first downward facing dog, maybe pedaling through the feet or generously bending the knees. Making sure feet are hip width distance or wider, shoulders down and back, neck nice and released, eyes of the elbows pointed towards the front of the mat, and all 10 fingers spread wide. We'll stay here for 3 more rounds of breath, maybe finding some organic movement or breathing in stillness. And on your next inhale, let's rise up to the balls of the feet and step, hop, or float forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, roll up the spine 1 vertebrae at a time into Tadasana, mountain pose. Keeping those arms down by the sides, palms facing the front of the mat. Pausing here for 3 rounds of breath, really feeling rooted through all 4 corners of both feet. So you're feeling this beautiful line of energy, almost like there are roots coming out of your feet, but there's also branches or maybe a light coming out of the crown of your head, so you're standing nice and tall. And next inhale, let's inhale those arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant the palms, step, hop, or float back. Flow as you so choose. And I'll meet you in downward facing dog. We'll stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. And on your next inhale, let's inhale that right leg up to the sky and exhale that right foot through to the front of the mat, in between the palms. Inhaling, arms overhead for high crescent. Exhaling, cactusing those arms down. Inhale, back overhead. And exhale, palms down to the mat, bringing that left palm just on the inside of that right foot. Inhaling, right arm overhead for a twist, 2 rounds of breath. And exhaling, right hand to the mat. And then inhale, back to high crescent, arms overhead. From here, next inhale, we're simply going to step that left foot to the front of the mat. And then exhale, sit down in Katasana, chair pose. Making sure shoulders directly over knees, and you can see all 10 toes. Your feet can be together or hip width distance. We're going to exhale those hands to heart center. And from here, let's shift the weight over to the left leg, picking up that right leg, flexing through the right foot, and then cross that right ankle over the left thigh for a standing figure four. Option to stay here, or on your next exhale, allow your palms to come towards the mat. Maybe you need blocks here or pillow. Really opening through that right hip. We'll stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. And if you are folded over, next inhale, come back up, hands to heart center. And then all of us, let's inhale, straighten through the left knee, coming up into one leg Tadasana with that right leg in the air. And then let's move into tree pose from here by grabbing that right ankle, maybe moving that right sole of the foot onto the inside of the left thigh, or just place it on the inside of the left calf, really avoiding the knee area here. You can bring your hands back to heart center, or maybe bring your arms overhead with your pointer fingers towards the sky, thumbs in an X. Or maybe just your arms overhead and you sway your branches for a little extra balance challenge. Imagining those roots coming out of that left foot. So you're rooting through the ground, or maybe reaching for the sky. We'll stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. And on your next exhale, very gently, allow your right foot to find the mat. And let's shake it out. Next inhale, let's come back to Tadasana mountain pose, arms overhead. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant the palms, step, hopper, float back, flow as you so choose. And I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath here. And next inhale, let's inhale that left leg up for 3-legged dog, and exhale that left foot between the palms at the front of the mat. Inhaling, arms overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms down, maybe looking up to the sky. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, both palms down to the mat, bringing that right palm just on the inside of the left foot. And inhale that left arm overhead for a twist. 2 rounds of breath. And next exhale, let's allow that left palm to come back to the mat as we inhale, arms overhead for that high crescent. And then let's just simply step that right foot towards the front of the mat. So we're in Tadasana mountain pose. Next exhale, sit down into Katasana, chair pose, bringing hands to heart center here. Make sure that our abs are activated, our abdominals are activated, so that we're not sinking into our lower backs. This time we're going to shift the weight onto the right leg, picking up that left leg, flexing the left foot to protect the left knee, and cross that left ankle over the right thigh for standing figure 4. Option to stay here, or on your next exhale, allow your palms to come towards the mat. Wherever you are, we're going to stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. If you are folded over, next inhale, let's bring hands back to heart center. And then on our next inhale, let's all straighten through that right leg, coming up into one leg Tadasana, and then moving into tree by grabbing that left foot and placing the left sole of the foot on the inside of the right thigh or calf, making sure we avoid that knee area. Bringing hands to heart center, or maybe arms overhead, Maybe you sway your branches, whatever feels good here. And even for an extra balance challenge, you can always try closing your eyes, seeing what that does. And making sure we're really feeling rooted through all four corners of the right foot. And we'll stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. And on your next exhale, gently bring that left foot down to the mat. Let's shake it out. Releasing everything before coming back into Tadasana mountain pose. One more time, inhale, arms overhead, and exhale, swan dive, forward fold. From here, we're going to heel toe our feet to the outer edges of the mat, setting up for Malasana Squat. So we want to turn our feet out just slightly here, making sure knees and toes are pointed in the same direction. And then exhale, sit down into your Malasana Squat, maybe keeping palms on the mat or maybe grabbing some blocks or pillows, or bringing hands to heart center. Now, if your heels are coming off the floor, just widen your Malasana Squat by going back into your forward fold and then sitting back down. You can also place a block underneath your bum here to really just sit down on that. But this is Malasana Squat. And you can imagine as we sit here, exhaling any stuck or unwanted energy out through the root chakra back into the earth so it can be recycled for something more useful. So we're going to stay here for 3 more rounds of breath. Inhaling in your intention, any positive energy or vibes that you're feeling today, and then exhaling out whatever is no longer serving you. And then wherever you are, let's bring those hands back down onto the mat if they're not there already. And inhale, straighten both knees and heel toe the feet back in to that forward fold. We'll release here for 2 rounds of breath. And on your next inhale, let's inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant the palms, and let's just step back into a tabletop and then find our way onto our bums. Getting ready for seated tree. So extending both legs here, flexing the feet. This is a staff pose here. And then we're simply going to bring that right sole of the foot, bending through that right knee, onto the inside of the left leg. Sitting up nice and tall here, making sure your shoulders are down and relaxed. Inhaling, arms overhead, and exhale, fold over that left leg. Maybe your palms are just resting on your shin, or maybe around the ball or the heel of the foot. Maintaining that even breath. And we'll stay here for about 3 more rounds of breath. And on your next inhale, gently roll up the spine back into that seated position. Let's straighten that right leg and just windshield wiper the feet from side to side here. And then coming back to center, flexing the feet, and then gently bending that left knee, bringing the left sole of the foot onto the inside of the right leg for seated tree on the opposite side. Inhaling, arms overhead, and exhale, forward fold.
Making sure that any tension is released here, making sure even like the face and the forehead is just relaxed and released. And we'll stay here for about 3 more rounds of breath. And on your next inhale, let's gently roll up the spine here. Extending that right leg forward and reaching towards the front of the mat. Let's exhale, roll down the spine, nice and controlled, all the way down onto the back. And inhale, knees into the chest. And on your next exhale, gently move in to your Shavasana for the day. Straightening through the legs maybe, or keeping them bent, finding a constructive rest. Bringing arms out by the sides, or maybe palms resting on the belly and or heart. Adjusting any clothing or hair that might be distracting. Scanning the body for any tension we can exhale. And allowing yourself to stop being a human doing and just be a human being. I will let you know when it's time to come out of your Shavasana, but for now, simply rest. And you are welcome to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you'd like. But if you'd like to close class with me, begin to bring awareness back to your breath, introducing some movement into the body, maybe by wiggling the fingers and toes, rolling through the wrists and ankles, maybe reaching arms overhead and finding a good morning stretch, or windshield wipering the feet or knees from side to side, finding any organic movement to wake the body back up. And then we're going to find our way onto one side for a fetal position, keeping knees bent, using bottom arm as a pillow. We'll take one round of breath here. And next inhale, gently press your way up into a Sukhasana, easy pose. Maybe keeping your eyes closed or in a soft gaze, bringing hands to heart center. I want to thank you for coming to practice with me, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We'll close our class with the sound of Om. Inhaling through the nose deep into the belly. Om. And bringing thumbs to third eye. May the light and love in me recognize and honor the light and love in you. Namaste.